The number one thing we hear from people that have never been on a cruise is, I don't want to get seasick. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. We have some tips and tricks on cruising. Hello, everyone. Hey there, hi there, ho there. My name is Michael Salazar. I'm a travel agent with Travelmation Travel. I am here today with my beautiful wife, Megan.
Hello.
And we have some tips and tricks for cruising for you. Some deal savers, some things that we wish we knew before we took our first cruise, and things that'll just make your vacation a little bit better.
hmm I agree. So the way that I've kind of written my notes is we're going from like top to bottom, start to finish, as far as booking and then disembarking on the cruise. So I think the first thing that you wanted to touch on is how important you feel like insurance is in today's world.
Absolutely. With flights being canceled around the world, having insurance on your vacation is of the utmost priority. Um, Either you can book it through the cruise line directly, or you can book third-party insurance. Third-party insurance is usually, uh, I don't want to say it's a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely more valuable. You're going to get more bang for your buck in the return. And if you're booking that insurance, that's going to protect you, depending on the cruise line, up until either embarkation or just before. What you don't want to do is make the number one cardinal sin of booking your flight on the day you depart on your ship. That is like number one. But if that flight gets canceled, if you have the insurance, for the most part, you're going to be protected. Now, you may not get all your money back, but at least you're going to get some shipboard credit. Or
You should
credit
be
for
able
the
to
next.
rebook.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is very important for having a stress-free embarkation beginning. Start your cruise off
Stress free.
stress-free.
hmm
All right. What else you got?
I agree. Okay, so we're jumping in. So let's just assume they've already booked. You
Mhm.
know, we're not going into the how to do that part
Mhm.
necessarily, but like once you're fixing to go. So I think one thing that we struggled with was parking. Like where do we go to get on the boat? Where are we leaving the car?
Right.
How are we getting all of our stuff? So we've done it a couple of different ways.
Mhm.
So our first cruise together, actually we did through the hotel, right?
Yep. So we found a hotel that offered two things: long-term parking and a bus that took us from the hotel to the cruise port, door to door.
Yeah.
That is the best solution if you're driving into the port. The second would be long-term parking at the cruise port. Now, depending on what cruise ports you're at, that can be very expensive. I've seen it from 25 up a day up. And if you're going for 7, 10, 14 days, that could be really expensive.
Yeah.
Some ports, like in San Diego, they don't even have parking. So you got to go to long-term airport parking, and they have a shuttle that takes you back and forth. But I definitely think talking with your travel agent and finding the hotel that can get you the best transportation is very key. And you can save money on that Uber ride by doing the free transportation from the hotel. And a lot of hotels in the cruise port area, that's what they're there for. They deal with it every week. It's not out of the ordinary type of
No,
thing.
I almost feel like the one that we stayed in that did it was probably a 15-minute drive. Like it wasn't like it was
Yeah.
right next door.
Yeah.
So you just have to know what you're looking for basically.
Yep.
Um
And a qualified travel agent will help you find that.
yeah. So one thing that I want to mention, and I think that we'll differ on this, is in my opinion, I would, if possible, if there is like parking at the port, like drive up to the boat, kick me and my stuff out, I would absolutely pay for the convenience of that versus driving and parking like we did on this last cruise.
So I understand, and I don't disagree that it is convenient. It's all a matter of what your budget is.
I mean, that's valid, but what
Yeah.
we didn't know and what we know now and we could tell future clients is, so we didn't know that when we parked at the airport parking that they only wanted to drive one person back. So we assumed that we could park as a family, load up our stuff, and then get dropped off together. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And I totally get why they're trying to maximize how many people they can move back and forth.
Mhm.
But that was a hard lesson to learn,
Yeah.
especially because on our first day, for that one, it was raining. So that just went into so much more. But before we get there, I wanted to add um, the best thing to do before you get on or before you're embarking on your trip is to join like a Facebook group.
Mhm.
Some have them, like specifically Disney has them for your specific itinerary, like the
Yeah.
exact date you're leaving,
Yep.
so that you're talking and getting to know people if you want to that are actually going with you. But then people will post, I mean, 100 a day, really, right?
And a lot of the cruise ships do that.
Okay.
They've got these people that that's all they do. They don't have much of a life, so they build these groups.
I mean,
But
I
it's
get it.
great.
There's nothing better than having a vacation to look forward to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah, so these ones I've never joined it for like the Carnival cruises we've been on. I think it's probably more exciting for me to look forward to like a Disney. But yeah, so they talk about, oh, don't forget everybody tonight. You can load all your passport information. And so everyone's like, it's like a community. It's kind of fun. There's a lot of like, hey, I'm going alone with just my kids. Like, is there any other adult in that situation so we can meet up? I mean, I don't know that Michael and I are trying to make friends necessarily, but there is a forum for that if you wanted to. But it is a good thing to use.
And you know what? If you don't find one, make one.
Yeah.
People will find it, post it up. So if you want to make one, make a Facebook group and then tag it with the Carnival Cruise Line group, because Carnival Cruise Line has their own groups. They have their own page. Tag them in there. People will be jumping in there like crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to meet people and
Yeah.
socialize.
Yeah,
Be
definitely.
the leader.
Yeah. Okay, so like you said, we wanted to get to the departure city the day before. Also, especially for us with kids, it's really not the best version of ourselves when we're getting somewhere the day of.
Yeah.
We're a little frazzled, we're a little tired. That's not the way that we prefer to do it anymore. We used to be able to do that and it used to be much easier, but now it's not that's not how we do it anymore.
So let's talk about that. Let's break it down as maybe what they should pack before they leave that hotel to head down to the cruise port.
Okay.
What would you suggest that they have either on their body or in their carry-on backpacks?
So we always have heard like bring your suit on because
Swimsuit.
yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of people say that the pools are the least crowded on that day and especially right when you get on the ship. So we've always brought our swimsuits. This last time it was raining, so we didn't take advantage of that, but we did have them just in case. But anything that you're gonna need, potentially even until after dinner.
Yeah.
Our bags have always been available, or our rooms have always been available before dinner,
Mhm.
but I don't know that that's like the
They try to say like by 4 o'clock or
yeah,
4:30, your room will be available. And maybe it will be, but your luggage may not be back over to your room yet.
right, right.
So you may be able to get into your room, but you may not have your luggage. So if you've got stuff in your backpack, like your medicine, your cell phone chargers,
Mhm.
stuff like things that you're going to need right then and there, it's great
Yeah.
to keep those in a backpack that you can always have on you.
Yeah, a change of clothes if you're gonna want
Yeah.
that for later for dinner.
Yeah.
Um, for us, it would have been really useful to have a different pair of shoes.
Yeah.
So there's just, things to make you more comfortable on your first day there.
And let's talk about why we needed a new pair of shoes.
So, okay. So, one thing that would have benefited Michael and I to know, or if we had worked with a travel agent ourselves, when we went on our last Disney cruise. So, it was pouring rain and we couldn't find anything about like rain protocol, for lack of a better word.
Mhm.
So, when you're getting on the ship, you are given like a time frame, like depending on your
Your board
status
time.
and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So you get like kind of an hour time
Mhm.
range. So I think that we had a decent one. I think it was like noon.
Mhm.
But we also the time had changed, so we didn't know we were like 2 hours earlier than we really needed to be.
True.
But anyways, so we didn't know if they were gonna make us stand outside in the rain until noon. And so I was looking online trying to figure that out. I couldn't find anything that says, "Hey, if it rains, don't worry, come in, like they'll let you inside the building." So basically, we me and the girls get dropped off with all of our bags. We get the bags checked in with the guy. He goes and gets those safe under covered tents. And then Michael had to go park the car because again, we weren't allowed to go with him to park the car. And so we asked the people
Sure.
up at the front, like, are we going to be able to go in the building or do we have to wait until the time? And she's like, oh no, you can come in as soon as your whole party's with you. Well, we had split rooms, and so the way that we did it was me and two kids were on one room and Michael and a kid was on the other because we had five people. There was two rooms. And well, I had one wrong kid with me and he had one wrong kid with him. So none of us could go through and get undercover. So we were just absolutely soaked by the time Michael got back from
Hence needing new
parking.
shoes.
Yeah. So again, lesson learned. Now we know. And going forward, we probably will just keep all the kids in one room just to make it easy. But
Yeah, we've learned that.
yeah, yeah. So anyways, it would have been really helpful to know that information. So that is a positive with working with someone who's either learned the lesson themselves or know how to prevent that kind of stuff going forward.
Mhm.
But anyway, so as far as packing, that's shoes would have been so convenient.
Absolutely. So what's next? Are we getting on the boat now? Getting on the ship?
So a couple things that we wanted to talk about that you don't have to bring.
Yeah. Oh
Um
yeah, these are good.
so I believe in every room on a cruise ship they're gonna have like a blow dryer for your
Mhm.
hair. So I don't think you're gonna have to bring that. I don't think that Ailey and I did. I think we just brought our straightener, maybe
I
curling
think so.
iron.
Yeah. You had a curling iron, I think.
Yeah. And then unless you have like a specific shampoo, conditioner, body wash that you really love, um, I wouldn't bring that either because they have that available in the bathroom already for you.
So let me talk about toiletries. Bring what you want. Bring what you need. Don't stress out over forgetting something because the ship stores or the ports you go to, you can get everything. So don't like, oh man, I forgot my deodorant. Well, there's going to be deodorant there. I forgot a razor. They're going to have razors there. Don't let the little things stress you out and ruin your vacation. I wanted to throw that in there because I think that's really important.
Yeah, in the little shops they have like a section that's like all the, forgotten things,
Yeah.
basically.
It's not cheap on the ship.
No, it's not complimentary either like a hotel would be.
Yeah, but you could go to your next port and maybe leave the 100 square foot of the port, find a little convenience store, and you're
Mhm.
gonna get it relatively affordable.
Yeah. Um Okay, so the other things that we wanted to mention were an approved USB hub or port.
Yep.
And they don't allow extension cords. You have to be careful with what you bring. So it needs to have like a short cord, like under 6 foot, you said, right?
Yep. And if you go to travelmationmichael.com, we have an Amazon store link that has approved devices. It has a whole bunch of things that you may want for your cruise. Take a look at that. It's travelmationmichael.com. Click on the Amazon link, and we've got things that we have personally looked at, approved, and put on that list. It's not just generic stuff. It's stuff we've looked at and approved. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth having, especially like I have a CPAP machine. So that takes up one of the two plugs in the entire room.
Hmm.
So we've got to have stuff to be able to charge the phones, charge the kids' tablets, and things like that.
And they really do a good job with having a lot more plugins. Like as the ships are
The
newer,
newer ships have
yeah,
more
it's
plugs.
definitely easier
The
than
older ships, like you go on the Disney Wonder, there's two plugs. That's it. But you go on some of the newer ships, um, they're made for technology in
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah. Or just a couple other notable things. Um, some people can't sleep without a fan on, and you never think about it until you don't have your normal fan blowing on
Mhm.
you, like even just a ceiling fan, that's not in the room.
Yep.
So they do have really cool portable ones. I'm pretty sure that we have one linked in.
I think we do.
Yeah,
So the one that I really like, and I'd like to pick up for our next cruise, maybe not our next cruise because it's gonna be freezing
cold,
cold,
yeah.
but they have one that's battery powered with a magnet or a hook. I think it's made for camping, and you can put it up above your bed, and it's literally like a little 6-inch ceiling fan or round blow fan, and it just goes right above your bed. And to me, that would be phenomenal because that's where I feel like I need to have the
A
fan.
little airflow.
But we did take just a small little fan on this last one, didn't we?
Yeah, just like a desk
It
one
just
kind of.
it just circulates the air and it
Yeah.
really makes it
Our
comfortable.
our room really stayed nice and
It
cool,
did.
but you don't want to be caught in a room that's having trouble keeping up. So
Yeah.
that's always good. Another thing is hooks. We always bring hooks. Little magnetic ones. I try to get some of the bigger ones so that they can hold a towel, a bathing suit, or whatever to dry.
Yep.
And then one thing that I don't think we've ever brought this, but it is a good idea, especially if you have kids, especially younger kids, is a nightlight,
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a
because
good one.
we stay in the inside rooms, so there's no natural light at all. And so at night, if they need to get up to go to the bathroom, or let alone get up to find you, they have to turn on find a light
Yeah.
because there's just no light whatsoever in there.
Yeah.
So that would be helpful if you had a kid.
And those magnetic hooks, and there might be a nightlight in the Amazon store as well. Once again, travelmationmichael.com. There is a link for that. But those magnetic hooks come in handy. I've got them on my desk right here, holding things up. They're
Yeah.
fantastic, and they really do get things off the floor, off the couch, and it makes your room tidy. It really just because you're talking 200 square feet. You want to keep things as organized as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Speaking of that organization, I just thought of this. So I when we were trying to plan for our last Disney cruise, which was our first Disney cruise, I we were watching so many walkthrough videos of what the cabin looked like because I needed to know this one specific thing about the ship that we were on. And that's whether or not the hook in the closet, do you remember me like
Mhm.
stressing over that, was a bar, or if the hook if you could hang stuff on it, because I like to pack the girls' things in organizers where it's like little, like a
Shoe
shoe.
organizer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's like little cubbies for here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's like unpacked, ready to go, no problem. And it saves space because it's not, you don't have to get in and out of it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you pre-pack that before we leave the house, right?
Yeah.
And then just squeeze it down and fits
Mhm.
right in the suitcase.
Yeah. But
Totally
I
awesome.
could not figure out, because why would someone care about that
Yeah.
if they weren't packing the way that we do, about that? So luckily now we know that they do have
The bar.
that bar,
Yep.
yeah. And you can even pack, I think I even packed extra hangers
Yep.
because we wanted to hang all of our
Dress clothes.
shirts or dresses.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's useful to have too.
Yeah.
Oh, and then last thing, as far as just a notable thing to pack, on a lot of the cruises, it's fun to decorate your door. Huge for Disney cruises. I don't know that we do that necessarily for like a carnival. I can't remember if I don't think we did.
Uh,
Some of them have like people put like whiteboards or things
yeah.
like that. But for the Disney cruise, a lot of people decorate their door with like little thin kind of magnets. So they're all over Etsy. You can find them anywhere. So
Mhm.
that's a fun thing to do.
There's some people that go all out and fully decorate their door to a theme that they're celebrating for that itinerary, that
Yeah,
vacation.
we saw some really cool ones, and it's kind of fun because everything starts looking the same when you're walking through like the corridor.
Mhm.
And so I remember there was like one specific one that was Haunted Mansion, and so the girls would always be like, "Yep, we're going the right way,"
Yep.
because they saw it. So and we were like all the way in the back. So we got to see a lot. And then as far as packing costumes or special like dress up night type attire, just to be aware of like the specialty things that are going on the ship before you pack and get on board.
Right. So let's talk about this. We're not going to break down a full packing list of what to bring on your cruise. But if you go to travelmationmichael.com/packing, we have 4 packing lists that you can download. one for a Disney cruise, one for a cruise, one for a European trip, and one for a resort stay. So you can go to travelnationmichael.com/packing and download those. There are 4 different PDFs, and it has everything you're going to need. And it even leaves you some extra space that if you have like special medications or CPAP machine things that you don't want to forget, you can handwrite them in there. So take a look at that. Great tool that's free. Go download it.
Okay, so now I think we're just going to jump to assume that we've bypassed the rain. That did not bother us this time. Now we're finally on the ship. So, if you wanted to do any specialty dining and you weren't able to get a reservation, um it's recommended to try to either go right to guest services or go to that dining location and see if you can get any last minute things booked there on the ship.
Yeah. And guest services may not always be able to help you or may not be the right place to go on some cruise lines. Some cruise lines and there, we forgot something and I'll tell you what it is here in just a second. Some cruise lines have a room set up. So if it's like one of the lounges that you go there and they have representatives that you can sit down and talk to. That's how Disney is. So they designate one of the lounges that they have people that'll help you if you need to change a reservation or get a reservation. And I'm pretty sure that Carnival is the same way. And I'm not sure on some of the other ones.
I think we've just been lucky and we've never had to like
Yeah.
use that yet.
But what you need to know before you get on the ship, and we totally forgot this, download the app before you get to the cruise port.
Yeah.
It'll tell you where to go.
Yes.
And the Wi-Fi stinks in there. Pre-download it, have your reservation loaded in it, and it'll pop up and tell you. So you know exactly where to go on that ship as soon as you get on there to handle those situations. But yes, if they couldn't get the reservation, they were all sold out ahead of time, go there. You never know what they can do for you.
Yes. And then as far as what you do right when you get on the ship, what is that to you?
Okay, this is a controversy here. I myself want to have lunch. Let's eat.
Yeah. So no, most people go to the buffet. We definitely did that. And because most of the time you're not eating like a big breakfast before you get on the ship, you're like saving yourself. So
Yep.
then by the time you get on there, you're ravenous. But there is at least usually one other dining option, like a table service, like a sit down served meal. And that is less busy. And that could be a good day to check something new out as well.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of there being another option.
Yeah. So one of the things we like to do, at least if it's on a ship that we've never been on, is I like to walk around and kind of get my bearings. So as soon as we get on, you can't go to your room. So you're walking around the lobby, you go up to the top floor and start working your way down. I think that's something very cool to do, especially if it's a ship you've never been on. Get your bearings first, then go get something to eat. Listen, the buffet is going to be busy. It's going to be busy from the moment they open the doors to right before they leave the port. You're going to have to deal with it. If you don't want busy, like Megan said, go to one of the restaurants that are open if they have one there and bypass that. And maybe the next day, go check out the buffet.
But the buffet, in my opinion, was the best on the first day. Out of all the days that we had
that was weird, wasn't it?
Think?
The food was fantastic. I mean, it was good the whole time.
There was always a lot of options, but the options were just better suited for me, I guess, on the first day. I don't know.
It was almost like they didn't have a theme and they did a little bit of everything on the first day, because they do like different themes for different days depending on what's going on.
And like where you are.
Yeah. And the first day, it was amazing. The ship that we were on, the Wonder, was absolutely great. But it's been shipped on every ship we've been on. It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
But a lot of times go to the pool too. If you're wearing your swimsuit when you get on or you packed it, go put that on and go swimming, get some cocktails. If you get that drink package, go get some drinks in you. So
yeah, enjoy the pool when not everyone is jumping into it, because a lot of people wait until like the day at sea to go swimming.
And they'll put a stop on the pool. So the key is to get on as early as you can. Some cruise lines, because of your arrival times, you're not going to get on early, depending on, people that have cruised repetitively have priority to get on. But get in the pool early, because there's a point where they're going to shut the pool off to do the muster drills. and
Yes.
make everyone do that. So if you want to get swim time in before you leave, definitely jump in that, and jump in the pool and do that beforehand.
I agree. And then I did just have like a note here for dining in general, since we're on the topic of food.
Yep.
So ordering off menu, I know that you wanted to kind of mention just a little bit of that.
So you you may or may not know you can order as much as you want. Yeah, round one, round two, round three, even round four. We've done it. My cousin's trip we went on. How many rounds of appetizers? I think we had 25 plates of what was
Well,
it?
there was like a 12 of us, so don't make us sound too
Right.
bad. But
What was it that we were
scallops.
the scallops?
Yeah.
I think we had 25 plates of scallops on top of the surf and turfs.
Yeah, on top of all of our meals.
But
Um,
what I wanted to talk about though was sometimes you'll go to a restaurant that has a theme, and if something you want is not on that menu, do not be afraid to ask your server, "Hey, is this available?" Especially for kids, chicken tenders may not be on the menu, but guess what? In that same kitchen, they're making chicken tenders for the restaurant next door.
mhm.
Always ask. If it's
Yeah.
something you want, ask. They'll tell you no, or they'll say, "Hey, let me see what I can do for you."
Yeah.
When we were on the Disney Wonder, there was a meal that I wanted for dinner that was not served in that restaurant. The waiter went to the other restaurant, got it for me, and brought it back.
Mhm.
It was phenomenal service though, you know.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, be nice to your server. They
Absolutely.
really take care of you.
Yep.
But, yeah, he didn't mind doing that.
No.
But also it's the same with room service. So you can order room service, and for at least the Disney, if you're ordering room service during like a dinner service, so you know, the first seating or the second seating, you could get dinner from any of those
Mhm.
restaurants. Um, or the buffet.
But no, room service may not be free, meaning there may be a charge to have
Right.
it brought up. It depends on the cruise line.
Mhm.
Some may do it for free plus like a gratuity. Some may charge 5, 6, 7, $10.
Yeah.
So just know, and if you look on your app, it'll tell you what it is. But yes, on some of the cruise lines, they will do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think that's it for food as far as this moment is
Okay.
concerned. Okay, so let's get into everyone's primary concern, being scared of getting sick.
Getting seasick.
So it's a valid concern. I mean, so the very first cruise that I went on, I was in high school, and I don't recall feeling like dizzy whatsoever. But then the first one that we went on, like as adults, I was like, yeah, you feel it a little, you know, it's like the, it's
To be fair, you were probably drinking on the second one.
true. That is valid. So our point of reference is we've always stayed in an inside room. We've never had a balcony, or I don't even know if we've ever had a window. Have
I think
we?
we had a window one
One
time.
time.
I
Okay.
think the Cousins cruise, we had a window.
So where on the ship do they recommend is best?
The dead center, as low as you can go, floors 2 or 3 in the center of the ship. That's going to have the least motion.
Yeah. So
And I recommend packing Dramamine.
yes.
And from what everyone tells me, I have not used them, but everyone says the wristbands work. I don't know what they do, how they do it. Is it copper wristbands?
I don't know. Is it a pressure point
I
thing?
don't know.
I don't know. Also the things behind your
Yep.
ears. We're definitely gonna try the wristbands this next time, because one of our children did get sick, unfortunately.
Wow.
And so the really, really nice thing about the cruise line is like it's kind of like no big deal. You know, not that anyone wants to get sick or to deal with that, but it's almost like they're like on the ready.
Yeah.
So, luckily this didn't happen to one of our kids, but all the kids were waiting outside to meet a character on the Disney cruise that we were on. And there's like this hallway in between like some of the shops, and then where people leading up to where people line up for the characters. And this poor girl just like tossed her cookies everywhere. It took maybe 12 seconds for 2 cast members to be cleaning it up. Like, it was very quick. They didn't make the little girl feel bad about it at all. Like, they really are prepared for stuff like that.
And
No,
they take it seriously.
yeah, yeah,
And
they
Megan's got a story here about how serious they take it.
yeah, so if your child is does get sick, out in the public area, so they're gonna come over, get it cleaned up, no problem, and then they're just gonna take their name down. And so what they do with that is they basically tell any of the kids spots, like, they're not gonna be invited back for a little while. So they want you to go talk to the what is it, the doctor or the medic on
Yeah.
board,
Mhm.
just to get cleared, making sure that your kid really is feeling fine. So it's not necessarily gonna be in line to meet characters like with your parents. It's gonna be more so you're not gonna be able to go into the kids zone or into the kids camp, kids care type of thing. And so they just basically note it. It's like so fast. They note it, they write it down on a piece of paper, make a call, and then not 2 minutes later, we had like a text message in our app that said, you better see a doctor before
Yeah.
you want to go back to the kids club. So
And the doctor was great. We took her down to, I don't know what they call the infirmary.
yeah.
We took her down there. They took her temperature. It was just fine. It's great COVID protocols, and they were
Mhm.
very calm, and they wanted to make sure that she wasn't didn't have any anxiety or anything like that because of it.
Yeah.
And they took her temperature. She was right where she needed to be, and they said, "Okay, if there's any other
And
symptoms, let us know."
the sad thing for Olivia, well, I guess I wasn't gonna say who it was, but the sad thing for her was that when it happened to her, she wasn't actually like losing it. She was trying to swallow a pill. And for the kids, like when the pill starts disintegrating like immediately and it tastes gross in your mouth, she spit it out. So she didn't actually like throw up, but they still like noted it. And so that was fine. Like, you have to be understanding in situations like that. So all we had to do again, we a couple hours later, because we weren't gonna put them in the kids club anyway, we just went down and talked to the nurse or whatever it was, and she was like, okay, she's good to go, signed off, and then that was that.
But no, they're
So
looking for stuff. They're looking for those signs,
mhm.
especially with COVID protocol. They're looking for things. So don't try to mess with them because they're serious
Yeah.
with that kind of thing.
Yeah. But the nice thing is like I think what we're intending to say is it is like just something that happens and they're
Yeah.
well equipped to deal with it.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but if it does, like they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
They'll take care of it. So yeah. Is there anything you want to add to that before we
No.
move on? Oh, so the only other thing that I was thinking was our kid did also feel sick in our room. We were also the lowest you could be, but we were the one room away from the furthest back you could possibly be. And she tried to sleep on the top bunk. And I don't know if that just rocked her a little too much. I don't know what it was about the top. But after that, we didn't have her sleep there anymore. And then we were pretty much fine in the rest of the cruise. So,
It rocked me to sleep.
yeah. Yeah. And then okay, so moving on from that unfortunate topic. So we were talking about excursions, whether or not you should book through the cruise itself or through like a third party.
So I wanted to bring up the pros and cons of both. So the obvious to us, and hopefully will be to you, the number one pro for booking with the cruise is if something happens on that excursion and you're late making it back to the cruise ship, they will wait for you. That's
Yeah.
most important.
Yeah.
The con of the booking with the cruise ship is it's expensive. It's substantially more expensive. Now let's look at the other side. Booking with a third party. The pro is it is affordable and you have sometimes a lot more options.
Mhm.
The con is if something happens, a car breaks down, a bus breaks down, and you do not make it back in time, that ship will leave you and everyone that's with you.
And the sad thing is that you see videos all the time
Yep.
online of people running to catch the ship and it's like once it's pulling out it's not stopping.
Yeah.
Um so the only thing that I can think of though is we're gonna do like a hop on and a hop off tour,
Mhm.
they're not gonna wait for us.
No.
Whether we book that through a third party or the ship, it's kind of up to you to get yourself back to a ship because
Yeah.
it's not like a specific tour. It's
Yep.
kind of like you're taking yourself around.
You really
But
have to be responsible in the ports. If you're
yeah.
gonna book third party, book something right when you get off the right when you're allowed to get off the ship. Book
Mhm.
something right there, do it for a couple hours and make sure you're back with plenty of time to spare. Then you have no problems. But if
Yeah.
you're booking an all-day excursion, you're going horseback riding, you're going to the beach, you're going to ride the ATVs, you better book that with the cruise line.
Yeah, I
Be-
agree. We did our own little tour in Puerto Vallarta,
Mhm.
and we told him that we had to be back like 4 hours earlier than we really did.
Yeah, just to be safe.
Yeah, also though we had like a reservation like that afternoon, but yeah, we weren't playing around. We're not gonna get left behind.
Exa- We've seen too many videos, literally.
Yeah,
It's
so sad.
crazy. Running,
Um,
running. Wait.
so you mentioned them needing to download the app
Yep.
before getting on. So I just want to touch on the app. It's absolutely necessary, and such a good tool to organize your time on the cruise.
Yep.
So the cruise, the app is your way to communicate with other people. It's not foolproof. It doesn't like alert you like a text message does. You know, there was a time that I had texted Michael and like waiting for his reply, but somehow he got disconnected and didn't see it. So it's not foolproof, but it's the best, easiest way to get a hold of someone that you're not right next to.
Yeah.
Also, it's really easy to navigate, whether it's the Carnival one from our experience or the Disney. The nice thing is that it shows all the things that are going on all day long. So I know on the Disney one, I'm thinking of that specifically just because we have been on it more recently. You can kind of like create your wish list day.
Yeah.
So if you want to see this character, if you want to see this character, if you want to see this show, if you want to go do this towel folding activity, you can kind of make a wish list and then look at what time all of those things are happening to see if that's doable,
Yep.
basically.
Yep. It really keeps you organized.
It does. And then you can scroll through all of the days. So you can, if you're trying to see Goofy today at 4, but you have something conflicting, you could scroll ahead and see the next time he's there so that you can make the best use of your time
Yep.
or make priorities for yourself on who and what you want to see and do. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that you're constantly changing your time on your phone. Like depending on
Time zone.
your like the next port, right? It's
Mhm.
always the port that you're in, or how do they, I'm trying to
It's
remember.
always the port you're in.
The port you're going to, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, there was like 4 nights in a row on our last one that it was like, put it 1 hour ahead, put it 1 hour ahead. And then the next day it was like, okay, don't worry, you get one of those hours back, and you lost it, then you gained an hour, and then you gained an
Yeah.
hour. So I don't remember how that works, but they really babysit you about it, which is so good
Mhm.
because you're on vacation. You're not trying to remember everything.
Yeah, you don't have to think
So
about that kind of stuff.
yeah, they're always like, you know, before you go to bed tonight, don't forget. And so they really, and even on your phone, it says that. Don't forget before you go to bed, before you turn this off. So they really do help you through that. And the reason that I bring that up is that's vital to knowing what time you have to get back on the ship.
Yep.
So you have to know what time they're working off of.
Yep.
But again, they really do babysit you about it and remind you a million times.
And with most of the apps, I think if you go into airplane mode and use the ship's free Wi-Fi, it should keep your phone up to date, I believe, for the most part.
Mine did not. I had to
Yours didn't?
change it every
I
time.
guess it
changed
probably
it.
depend on your settings if you have the use the live GPS or not.
Yeah,
But that's another big one
Yeah.
is turning off your Wi-Fi unless you're going to buy Wi-Fi, which it's never worth it because it's horrible Wi-Fi. Unless you're on the brand new ships or Virgin Voyages where they're using Skylink.
or maybe if you're like on a really long cruise and if you want to like stream something or like just work
Cost a
or,
fortune.
but when you're on the shorter ones, just on vacation, I don't think it's worth it.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. So getting off of the ship, you have two options. You can check all of your bags. So, like the night before, normally at like 10 o'clock, you have to have all your bags zipped up outside of your door, and they'll collect all those and take them off of the ship for you in the morning. And then you just get off according to your boarding group. So they start calling boarding groups at like what, 9 or something?
8 or 9. It depends on when the
Depending
board
on,
comes.
yeah, you're right. Depending on
They
what time we
they
get
try
in.
to unload that ship as fast as possible.
Mhm. We really didn't wait that long. We checked all of our bags because again, we're 5 people, we had a ton to carry,
Mhm.
and we just didn't wanna do it. So, we put all of our bags out except for whatever we were wearing and were needing to throw into one bag the next morning. And so we went and had breakfast. We didn't have to lug all of our stuff to breakfast, and then we just kind of waited in the lobby until it was our turn. And I don't think that we stood in the lobby more than 30 minutes.
At the most, yeah.
So it really wasn't bad at all. And then, but your other option would be to carry your bags off,
Mhm.
and you can get off as soon as they start announcing it, basically, right? When
Yeah.
they
If you have your own bags, you can get off anytime once they open the doors and they say, that first rush is going to be busy. So maybe give it a couple minutes. I think the higher ranking loyalty members are going to get that first rush out. That's part of their perks of being loyal members. But then right after that, you can get right off the ship. Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's going to stop you.
We've
They want everyone off.
Yeah, we've never done that.
Yeah,
And all the times that I mean, there hasn't been that many, maybe 4 cruises
yeah,
together. We've never ever carried our stuff off. Because again, you wanna go to breakfast on the last day, enjoy that, and then kind of wander off. And honestly, dragging the suitcases through those small hallways, it's really not fun.
no.
So yes, if you'll carry my bags, thank you. I appreciate that. And then they're all together in the like terminal area. So super easy to find, really. All organized and ready to go. So that's really for me a no-brainer.
Yep.
And then the last thing that you wanted to talk about was the range and prices. Like what time
Okay.
is the better time to go?
So statistically, the cheapest time of the year to take a cruise is the end of October or October and the first half of November and January. I had to think about that for a second. And January. The times when students are still in school at the tail end of hurricane season, that's going to be your absolute cheapest time to cruise. The most expensive time to cruise is going to be Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then May to September. It's pretty obvious when kids are out of school. That's when
I don't know. I
cruising.
don't know that September would be that busy. I would say probably August.
It depends on what coast you're on, because on one coast they go back a little later than on the other coast.
Yeah.
But typically, and one thing I wanted to talk about the cruise prices, and from the stats that we've found, is that the price of a certain itinerary. So say you're doing a 7-day on October 1st out of Long Beach on a Carnival cruise, that price you find on carnival.com is going to be very, very, very close. Sometimes exactly the same on any website you look. They all link back to the distributor's website. So thinking that you can go find that cruise on a cheaper site, most of the time isn't the case. Where you'll find your deals is when they don't fully sell that itinerary, and they're sending out to the travel agents, hey guys, we need to sell this cruise. Here's an extra 50-60 bucks off. And by joining a like a deals group or following a travel agent, they're going to be the ones that are putting it out there. I have the Getaway Club on Facebook, and I'm posting deals all the time. And to be honest, there's not a lot of great cruising deals. There's been a few. There's a few Alaska itineraries for next summer, early in the season, that have not fully sold out yet. So I think I just posted one yesterday that was $2,400
Mhm.
per couple for a balcony. That's an amazing deal for 7 nights in Alaska.
Yeah, especially for 7 nights.
Yeah, exactly. But cruising, there's not a lot of deals. Where you're finding a lot of the deals is all inclusives and Caribbean type of stuff. But I
Well, and a lot of the time though they are running 20-25% off, but don't they, am I wrong in thinking that once the next like season or years cruises are dropped, that's the cheapest they'll be normally is when they first are released?
right. So cruise line, different than a lot of other things. Cruise lines start cheap and get more expensive. Where some other industries, things start really expensive, and then as it gets closer, they think they're trying to fill it up, so they discount it. That's not how cruises are for the most part. Every once in a while, they do run deals,
I'm
but
sure if you maybe if you're a California resident or
no,
something, you
and
might
they
get.
do. Florida residents get the best deals because they know on a Thursday they could say, "Hey, on Saturday we're leaving. Who wants to go?" And they fill up that boat real fast with people
Mhm.
in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando and all those areas.
That makes sense.
So yeah, if you're a Florida resident, you're getting great deals, and especially like on a 3 or 4 day quick weekend cruise. Yeah, absolutely. But I wanted to let you know on the prices. You can deal shop, but 99% of the time, it's all going to be the same price. You're going to get your perks and benefits by using a travel agent because they can apply credits for you. Anything that maybe you don't see on or that they don't even post on the consumer side of sites, we can apply those free Wi-Fi, free dining, things like that. We can apply some of that stuff that maybe you can't see on the regular website. So definitely talk to a travel agent. Megan, thank you so much for sitting down with me tonight. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Michael Salazar. I'm a travel agent with Travelmation. You can check out my website, travelmationmichael.com. I'm on all the socials. I would love to sit down and talk with you. We don't have to book your vacation right now, but let's sit down and put together a plan. I do have financing available. So if that's an issue, we can definitely sit down and talk about that as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We do this all the time. Every week I do lives on all the socials. Hit me up. I'd love to take care of you. You guys have a fantastic day and let's get out there. Bye.
Bye.